Hello everybody, this is Kyrix, and I want to welcome you to another edition of This Week in Kyrix. Today is Wednesday, August 19th, 2015. And, I got good news! No, it's not the good news that John has a job, which it was, but good news nonetheless. Power bill taken care of. We managed to scrape together a not insignificant amount of money. Yeah, where is my settings? My audios is. We're dropping this shit because that is loud as fuck. Anyway, power bill. We scraped together about 280 bucks, let's call it, for this power bill altogether. I put in like 180 of it, Mom put in 50, and John and my niece put together the rest. But it was spread out over the month, so it's not something we did overnight. For the start of the month, we had 50 bucks from me and Mom. Then I went out and got a payday advance, cash advance from Scott, which was another $100. Then I took my $38 or so from Star Trek sales and put that towards it. And then they came up with 72 for it, but because I had put down that 38, we only needed like 33 of them. But yeah, we got that. Now, unfortunately, there's bad news, because every time I come back from McDonald's, we play a little game called Good News, Bad News. Good news. The day after our bill was due, and that's the full bill, not just the past due balance, which we're fine with. Because I got it in there the day of, and unfortunately, when dealing with that, my bank tends to have pending charges on it. You know, it's not just, oh, you got it, so we're good. No. It just, makes you do things. It makes you, wait a little bit. And in this case, made me wait about roughly 24 hours. Which normally would be fine, except those 24 hours, well, those 24 hours may have added money. So, rather than owing $218 next month, which is what the bill was, we now owe $252 next month, plus whatever next month is. Now, there are several possibilities for this. A, it's possible that, well, that's just a late fee for me, not dealing with the bill on the day of. It is, however, equally likely, and in fact quite likely, that it's just a side effect from postponing the bill. The mere act of making an extension adds money to it. And it's very possible that's the case. But either way, the important thing is I'm going to have lights guaranteed till September. So yay! Cause for celebration. And it really is. Don't let my whimsical tone fool you. I am very pleased with this news. It's very good news. It's fantastic news, in fact. That I can stop worrying for a little while about the state of the power of this house. I don't need to dread every day, ask my niece, is there any mail? To which she replies, nothing for you, or nope, nothing at all. Hoping that, well, not hoping, but dreading that this might be the day that Duke Energy sends me a letter saying, yeah, we're shutting you off on this day. Like they did that one time. Because they don't fuck around. When they say they're shutting you off on that day, they don't mean at noon or at nighttime. They mean they're fucking... Bob comes into the office, flicks the switch, and you have no power. That's what they fucking mean. You know? So, it's a big deal when they cut you off. But, it's something that I don't have to face this month. So, Yay. Also, gashed my leg open real bad. Not real bad, don't let me fool ya. Not real bad as in, oh god, it needs medical attention. No, no, real bad as in, it looks ugly. 2 days ago, well, 3 days ago really, our local Circle K was, their soda machine was on the goddamn fritz. Very much on the fritz. Nothing I could do about it. Just fritzy, 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 fritz, you know? No big deal, shit happens, you know? It happens a lot. Your company, something breaks, you know? And in this case, it was the soda machines. They had no pressure, it's just kind of a dribble, 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 and I was concerned with that, because it's not supposed to look like that. And it turns out I tried a little bit of it. Yes, it tastes like ass. Actually, it tastes like something that dripped out of your ass. But it's not good. Not quite at all. And of course, I really wanted a soda. So I got a 2-liter. Which will actually, believe it or not, lead into another story. But I'm going to tell this story first so I can tell the exciting story on its own terms, really. Okay. Exciting story. Well, not exciting story, boring story. By the second day, still wasn't fixed. Again, no big deal. It happens. Sometimes things just don't work right away. Not your fault, you know? You just gotta make shit happen. Naturally, though, I'm like, well, I need to get a soda, so I'll get it somewhere. And I did. I went to the other Circle K. The one by the place I used to live. The old trailer park. And you may recall me last week, because it certainly happened last week, mentioning that our streets were immensely flooded. Because they were. True story. Very flooded streets. Well, there was an unintended side effect or consequence to this little splish splash fest. That, of course, being that, well, when the streets flood, things get moved around a little bit. And in this case, things included a very large tree branch. Now, I have reasonably good night vision, so I'm not necessarily caught completely unawares by this. However, the time I went, 5:30 in the morning, cars were coming to and fro. It's the cars coming to that were the issue, flashing their lights in the face, ruining my night vision, which is what happens when you get flashed with a bright light. As a result, when I went down, I had no idea why. I figured that I'd strayed off the sidewalk or something. And I tried very valiantly to keep that thing vertical, for lack of a better word. Didn't quite help. Didn't help. Didn't help one bit. I was fine. But, I did the best I could with what I had, which was not a goddamn thing. But, now when I went down, you may recall I had a previous injury on my shin. And my first thought is, great, I busted that open again, because the scab had just come off that day, you know? Turns out, nope, totally wrong. Would you believe that it was half an inch to the side? Completely untouched, basically. But, yeah, I'm looking in the dark and I'm thinking, oh god, that's mud, you know? Thinking, first off, I busted that wide open, which I didn't, but I didn't know that at the time. Secondly, I'm thinking, oh, there's mud all over the place. Well, as soon as I got to light, I noticed that mud was in fact blood, and I was busted wide the fuck open. Again, it happens. Shit, I did this wrong. Fortunately, This can still be remedied. Anyway, get down to that Circle K, ask him if I can use the restroom, and the guy who used to, well, he still works down there, who I used to see on a regular basis because he worked there and I lived by there, I joked around like, I don't know, can you use the restroom? And then he saw my leg, because I'm like, yeah, I had a little spill. I was like, oh, crap. And he got out some rubbing alcohol so I could get it clean. And I did. I cleaned it up. Came home, gauzed the fuck out of it, like you do. And, yeah. It's all surface, though, don't get me wrong. And, by the way, I'm gashed from, like, 2 to 3 inches above my ankle to the very bottom of my knee. So, it's a big one. It's quite substantial, actually. But, again, don't be concerned for me. It's all surface. It stings like hell. Naturally would. I mean, surface or not, I am missing a lot of skin that should not be missing. You know? Likely. Nonetheless, I'm not seriously injured, don't need to go to the hospital. And as I told everyone, you can tell it's surface because I was able to ride all the way to that Circle K and back home with no more than, wow, that stings, you know? And for the record, people are wondering, well, why'd you have to wait until you were in light to see it? Because, of course, it hurt. But you'd be surprised how little difference there is between, oh god, I knocked it hurt, and oh god, I'm bleeding hurt. Because I can't count how many times that something just hurts so bad, I'm thinking, oh god, I'm bleeding, I'm gushing blood. Look down there, I'm just a little red, you know? Other times where it hurts a little bit or stings a lot like this, and I'm freaking, well, not gushing blood, but definitely bleeding, you know? But yes, the exciting story. Yes, more exciting than Kyrix gashing his leg all the way, the entirety of my shin, scratched open. What's more exciting than that? Well, I'll tell you. Alright, remember that day where I said I got a 2-liter and just kind of nothing else happened? Well, something else happened that day. And it was the doozy. Now what happened is, I'm not necessarily on a first-name basis with them all, but I know a lot of people up at the Circle K, locally, because that's what happens when you live near a gas station. You get to know the people, and this particular one was a neighbor of ours, which I discovered after a while when my niece, you know, just happened to notice, hey, she lives in our neighborhood, you know. And turns out she actually lives relatively close, like the building behind us close. But that's not important to the story. What is important to the story is she was working the morning shift, which she doesn't do. She typically works, you know, the day shift. So I get over there and she's like, what time do the doors open? I'm like, supposed to open at 5, because she didn't know. It's understandable that she didn't know. I mean, she doesn't fucking work that shift. But she was nervous because she's all alone in the morning shift. You know, basically the night shift. And that can be scary, understandably so. That's when the fucking nutters come out, you know? And she was concerned about fucking nutters. Fracking right. Again, understandably so. There are lots of people... That's the reason the night shift gets you so much money, because no one wants it. You know? But she was working that shift, and she was nervous, so after I got my 2-liter, because, again, soda machines were broken, I hung out outside, like you do, to hang out and talk to her, because she was outside smoking a cigarette, and she wanted someone to talk to, and she knows me. You know, so we were chatting a little bit, just casual shit, talking about how crazy it was, and we hear something. And we don't see it yet, but we look across the street, and here is this white car in the air. And it flips over, lands on its hood. We had about 2 seconds of stunned silence before we both snapped into action. She started screaming, 911, 911, and she's calling it on her phone because she had it out at the time. And I, of course, am running across the street to see if there's anything I can do. I don't think there's going to be anything I can do. But I would be just horrible if I didn't at least check, you know? And I get over there, and this guy, and I feel safe using names, because there are lots of guys with this name. But this guy's on his hands and knees yelling, Ed! Ed! Slapping the guy in the face. Because this guy, Ed, is out cold on the roof of his car. Because he wasn't belted in, so he got jostled all around. You know? I mean, he's knocked around really bad. It doesn't look good. I honestly thought he was dead. You know? It turns out I was wrong. Anyway, this guy comes over from the McDonald's. I don't think he was in McDonald's, because at this hour I don't think they were open. But I think he lived in the apartments next door to it. And he comes over, because naturally, I'm not the only concerned citizen. Meanwhile, there's a girl looking over the fence at McDonald's. And I'm not saying that she was not coming over to help. I'm saying it was the same case as my friend who worked at Circle K. She can't leave her post. She can't leave the job no matter what. So she was basically getting as close to it as she physically could without getting fired. And anyway, I suggest opening the door because the guy can't get any response out. Of course, the first thing the guy tells me is call 911. I told him she's already on it and point to the girl across the street. So then he goes right back to Ed. Anyway, I suggest getting the door open so the guy from across the street just suddenly... Well, first the friend opens the door and the guy across the street helps him hold it open. And then the guy tries... He's like, help me get him out. So I point to that guy, because I got no upper body strength. I'm not hauling a human being out of a car, even with help. You know, and I tell him, I'll hold the door, you get his feet. And they get him out, and they check for pulse, and he's alive. Which was an instant sign of relief, because I thought for sure that man was dead. Turns out, he was alive. Got up a little bit, and when I say a little bit, I mean like a minute or two. Even before the cops could get there. Got up, started staggering around, you know. Probably drunk, almost certainly drunk, but again, I point out that he could just as likely be just royally fucked up from the accident, because he flipped his car, you know? And it was him that flipped it. It wasn't like the other guy's car hit him. No. Other guy was driving this SUV. Ed's car hit him from behind and flipped itself over the car. Messed his buddy's back end up real bad, of course. The one somewhat funny moment out of this was the fact that Ed's like, who hit me? Who hit me? As his friend was holding him up, and his friend's like, motherfucker, you hit me! You know, in a moment like that, you take what humor you can out of it, because it's fucking... And of course, I get back to the girl, and she's a fucking nervous wreck, because all of this crap. Anyway, the cops tell me, sit tight over at the Circle K, wait across the street. We'll get to you. An hour later, they still haven't. Cops start leaving, so I finally get up and walk over there and ask one of the new cops, like, do you guys still need a statement from me, or can I go? Cop looks around and is like, I guess not. I guess they got everything, you know? Looks like no, so you can go. Mom was pissed, obviously, because I didn't, and she kept telling me, you should have gotten the girl's phone and called. I'm like, okay, cool, what's our number? Because remember, our phones are out, so even if I knew our number, that wouldn't do any good. And I don't have her cell phone number, and I don't have John's free phone number. And I don't think our neighbor does either. So, how would I call home? She want me to disobey the police and walk home and then come back? No. I gotta stay there. I told her, look, it's not my fault. I'd have been home an hour ago if I could. I was only planning on staying and talking to the neighbor for a couple minutes. You know? Worst case scenario, I'd come home and then go back so she'd have someone to talk to for the remaining hour and a half of her shift. Because she got off at 7, you know? But yeah, that's the exciting story. And I told this to HeroClix judge, and yes, we have made up from the whole HeroClix tournament fiasco. You know, I told him, look, the reason I didn't look online is because HC Realms is a bitch on my computer, period. And I had other things to worry about when I was at McDonald's looking stuff up. And he told me that he's like, are you gonna make it this week? I'm like, no, I'll make the next Ultron tournament. He's like, well, that's gonna be at the start of the month. I'm like, okay then. That's all I needed to know. Start of the month, clear my Tuesday, so I can go play. And then we spent another 2 hours talking on the phone. So keep in mind, any arguments we have, we get over reasonably quick. I'm one of those very forgiving people with my friends. You know, as much as that pissed me off, he hasn't fucked me over enough to even consider not being friends with him. Oh, I still want to strangle the shit out of him. But, name a time. I bet every single one of you out there can name a time, even with your best friend, that you just wanted to choke the life out of them for being stupid. So yeah, no matter how much I get pissed at him, no matter what I may say on here about being pissed at him, he's still my friend, you know? And he has some annoyingly frustrating traits, but he is a good guy, you know? But he did have some praise for me about that. He's like, well, so you just got up and you stepped up and you did something. I'm like, I tried to. He's like, well, the fact is you tried. So I'm pleased with that to get some praise out of that. I mean, when you get right down to it, I didn't do a goddamn thing. I basically directed traffic. You know, I acted as the brains for the other two because the friend was completely frantic, as you would be. I mean, keep in mind, this is someone he knew. This is a buddy of his, a neighbor of his, whatever. Hell, even if it's an enemy of yours, you panic when you think they might be dead right in front of your eyes. You know, that's something you don't shake easily, you know? But, so he was a mess. And the guy from across the street, I don't know much about him, but he seemed content to just do what he was told, you know? So I was the one who told. But, yeah, I'm pleased with how I reacted. Minor thing to the story, which again, somewhat impressed the judge, was the fact that, when I say judge, I mean HeroClix judge, I didn't go to court over this. When I ran up there, again, the car was on its top, and the bottom of it was smoking. The first thought that entered my head, naturally as you do, is, oh god, is it going to blow up? And keep in mind, when I saw that, my only response was to freeze for half a second. Not say, ooh, should I do this? My next thought was, can we do this before this car blows up and kills us both? Not, ooh, should I really do this? No, I froze for half a second, kept going. And then the more comforting thought entered, no, the Mythbusters proved to blow a car up, you have to try to blow a car up. Flipping it, crashing it, shooting it, that ain't gonna do it. You gotta put something in the gas tank to ignite the gas. You gotta shoot it with an incendiary round. Because they shot the crap out of a car, drove it off cliffs, all this stuff, trying to recreate movie fireballs, and they basically had to load it with gasoline and rupture it just right to get anything like that. So, thank you, Mythbusters. You helped me help save a guy. You know? But anyway, on to lighter notes. And I'm glad to have a positive episode after fucking weeks of, oh god, it sucks, I have no money, we might lose our power. No, it's all good news today. Well, not all good news. There is, of course, the thing that next month we gotta come up with that. We gotta come up with the water bill. There's still the cable bill looming over us, even though it's off. We still gotta pay it, you know? And John still needs a job. But we're gonna push that to the back burner, because I'm tired of giving you guys bad news. It's good news week, I promise. Good news only this week. And that good news is I have made amazing strides on Final Fantasy III. I've started the 3rd disc. I'm about, 35, 36 episodes in. Pretty good. I should, honestly, at this pace, and keep in mind, this is a drag-ass pace. I pretty much only start recording when the sun goes down. Mostly because I'm just watching stuff from YouTube until the sun goes down, but nonetheless, by this time next week, I should probably be done with the game. And it'll be ready to go up. It's all desked and everything. I will just kind of put it aside on the external, maybe a couple other places for safety, just to make sure I don't fucking lose anything. And then that's that. Then I go back to one of the others, like Harvest Moon, Digimon World, Jurassic World, Dead Rising 2, Star Wars Force Unleashed, or maybe I start Front Mission, or Ring of Red, or one of the half dozen other things like Breath of Fire that I wanted to do. Could be anywhere. Could be anything. I've got a lot on my plate. Again, little tinge of bad news, but this is just bad news for me, is the Pony Hiatus comes out of hiatus on the 12th of September. Which kind of pisses me off because I don't get Discovery Family. And I don't have internet, so I have no way to stream it. So I cannot watch my candy-colored horses when they come back, unless we get internet. That being said, my niece implied that by me not taking all 72 or whatever dollars that they had, that they were... It basically put them a week ahead of schedule to get their new cell phones with a wireless hotspot that would allow me to do said things. So I might get to see them after all. Very excited. Because believe me, I could use some colorful friendship right about now. Of course, the unspoken thing is the fact that by then we're going to need not rent. We'll have rent. Rent is not an issue. Rent is never an issue. We could have no lights, no cable, no water, still have rent. Of course, if we get all our utilities shut down, I imagine the complex will have a couple things to say about that. But hey, we're never going to miss rent. So yeah, there are a couple things to concern myself with. We've got time still. Jesus, boys, get alive. Hey. Away from my sheep. Away from my goddamn sheep. I will dump lava on your ass. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna dump some fucking lava on your asses. But yeah, again, good news. Like I said, got all that good stuff going on. Got major progress on my Let's Plays. Love my Let's Plays so much. Love my Let's Play viewers so much. There aren't as many of it. I think I'm up to 140 subscribers. I don't think I'm going to hit my New Year's resolution of 200, though. I just don't see it happening. I mean, I haven't uploaded a new video in 3 fucking months. 4 fucking months. The last one was in May. So I've been slacking there. Not necessarily my fault. I haven't really had anything new. Ooh, pretty rain. Now you little fuckers, move. Get off my sheep. Leave my babas alone. Anyway, yeah, so like I said, that's a whole Let's Play that's gonna be done. At a pretty good pace, too. I'm actually shocked that I'm as far into the game as I am. I've done a lot of the grindy shit, like Chocobo's Hot and Cold. It's done. Well, not done. I still have to get the gold Chocobo via the Chocographs. I still have to go to Chocobo Sky Guard and get those last ones, but pretty much done. I've gotten all the treasures I physically can get right now. I might be able to get a couple of the Chocograph pieces, but again, without all 6, it doesn't matter. I think I've got like 2 or 3 of them right now. But nonetheless, progress has been made at a pretty reasonable clip. So, yay. Yeah. Anyway, time to plug some shit I've been watching. Not that these people need my help, but fuck advertising and advertising, you know? I'm sure they appreciate a no-name, nobody YouTuber setting them even more viewers. You know? Yeah, like my fucking... Honestly, unless they're diligent about it, every single one of my subscribers could subscribe to some of these people, and they never notice. Oh, look, I went from 800,014 to 800,154. Some no-name YouTuber must have sent his fans to me, you know? You know, one of my fondest hopes is that one day all my jokes about being a no-name YouTuber, someone way down, like 6 years from now, goes back over this episode of This Week in Kyrix and like, wow, in 2015 he was a no-name YouTuber. He's got like 6 million subscribers now. Everybody watches this guy, you know? I hope. It's not going to happen, but I can hope. Let me have my dreams. Speaking of which, I told the HeroClix judge that I'm, again, considering Five Nights at Freddy's. I will not be as entertaining as most of the people who play that game, because I will not be doing it necessarily blind. I've seen it all. I'm not face camming. You're not going to get a bunch of jump scares out of me. Which, face cam isn't necessarily a thing. Jump scares, reactions are the thing. Face cam makes it easier to enjoy them, but you don't need it. What I want to do is I just want to see if everything I've seen, Markiplier and the girls from Watch Girls Play and Cupquake and whoever else I've watched, there's been a couple people, if I can take all the lessons I've learned watching them and apply them and beat the game myself. And keep in mind, I'm not making the arrogant mistake I made with Final Fantasy IV, like, I could do that, because I don't know. And that's the thing, and I told this to the HeroClix judges. Lately, ever since becoming a Let's Player, I have been setting challenges for myself. I have been doing a lot of challenges, just to see if I can, to push myself beyond my complacent game of just, I'm gonna play this game, I'm gonna have fun, it's gonna be cool. Just go beyond that. Not that there's anything wrong with just having fun. But I'm on camera, I got a fucking thread to establish, you know? Plus there's the fact that, again, one of my biggest things is I want to be on TV Tropes. I want to have my own page. And, well, at least last I checked, they may not have updated it since then. But there's only like 18 to 28 people or so. There's a very small number. It's countable. You can count all the people who have done 2020 mode, 420 mode on Five Nights at Freddy's 1. And if I can be one of those people, I can be added there. And if I'm added there, it could be just a small thing before I show up elsewhere, you know? Like, maybe get my own page someday, you know? Maybe one person, the person who adds me, like, oh, wow, someone else beat 420 mode. Oh, let's add his name in there. Hey, what else has he done? You know, maybe I could get a thing there. You know? And some schmuck who goes to, oh, crowning moment of awesome, Five Nights at Freddy's. This person's beaten 2020 mode. Oh, the Kyrix 82. You know, oh, what's he like? Oh, wow, I like his videos. You know, hell, that's how I found Critical, who sadly only played one video of that in the fourth game. Because he, oh my god, he's the best. He's just got this dry, monotone reading. Well, not reading, he's not off a script here, but just, yeah, I'm used to people, just a couple people no-selling the jump scares, but not like this. Like, he sees Chica for the first time, off her stage. And anyone will tell you, Chica is the fucking creepiest looking thing when you see her anywhere but the stage, because she's got the mouth open, showing off both of her teeth sets, or sets of teeth, because she's got one in her beak and one in the endoskeleton. Whereas everyone else's teeth is just the endoskeleton. Well, she's got her own teeth plus the endoskeleton's teeth, and it's creepy as fuck. And, he sees Chica, and his first response, and I'm paraphrasing here, is, wow, that duck looks like someone shoved a ladle up its ass. Poor thing looks startled. Something like that. He just is no-selling everything, and it is the best. Because he's just out of fucks to give. You know? And it's beautiful, it really is. And again, sadly, he didn't do the rest of the series. He didn't beat the game, because I'd have loved to have seen that. I've absolutely watched that. I haven't had much interest in seeing all of his videos, but then again, keep in mind, I've also got limited resources right now to see videos with. I have to prioritize stuff I know I'm going to watch, you know? It led me to watch girls play, which is the channel name, not just, oh, I'm watching girls play. But they are awesome. I love them. They're just so great at what they do. You know, it's a countless number of girls that cycles from time to time, and they play video games, and it's really gratifying to see. I mean, I don't want to say surprised, because I know girls play video games. I know girls who play video games. But these are a bunch of girls, gorgeous fucking girls. Like, one of them is named Renee, for example. She's not with the group anymore. Personal issues came up, you know, school, work, that kind of thing, and she just couldn't go. But she is, oh my god, she's a fucking knockout. She is one of the hottest girls I've seen. And she is one of their better gamers. They basically, when they were doing Five Nights at Freddy, they mentioned a couple things. They're like, yeah, if we're sure not going to skill run Renee, or I forget who else they said, but they're like, yeah, Renee's going to knock this out of the park. And Renee was the one who finished. Renee, I think, beat all 4 of the games. And she was the only one who beat a couple of them. But Renee is just gorgeous. I think Molly was another one I saw that was pretty hot. Sydney, and keep in mind, when I say this, they're all very attractive girls. Sydney isn't as attractive, I don't think. Still a very beautiful girl, but she has just this great personality to her. Very snarky, very fun to watch. Drea, I wish she had kept dyeing her hair, because she had her hair, just this great stripe to it, looked really good on her, you know? But she has very interesting wardrobe choices that show herself off pretty well. Not like in any slutty sort of way, but she got a body, and she shows it off rather nicely. And she was doing Walking Dead, though I've turned that off in disgust. Not with her, just the fact that she was nice to a character that I can't stand. So I'm like, nope, I'm done with you. I'll probably watch her when she has more of episode 3 after that character's dead. It was Larry, by the way. Anyone who's seen me play Walking Dead knows I fucking hate Larry. She basically gave him food and tried to save him instead of crushing his head with a salt lick. Even after she'd swore, oh, I'm gonna kill you when I get the chance, etc. She had the chance, she didn't fucking take it. You know? So yeah, I basically... I'll watch her episode 3 stuff later, and there's... again, I'm still learning a couple of the girls' names. I know Mackenzie from the thing, and I think that's about it from Five Nights at Freddy's, but... They're very talented. Watch them. You know, I enjoy seeing... Well, I enjoy seeing anyone just loving video games and being good at them, you know? And it's even better when it's girls, because girls have a reputation for not being gamers. And I like to see people saying, hey, not only are they girl gamers, they're fucking hot. It's not like, oh, these are some outcast nerds and they couldn't get a guy and that's why they play video games. No, they could fucking walk into a room and pick any guy they fucking wanted. And they're still playing video games. And I love that. You know? And again, they're pretty good. So that only improves them. And again, that's something I found from TV tropes. Because I was just on, like, the Five Nights at Freddy. Because again, that's what I'm on right now. I'm just on that because they're entertaining to watch. They're not, like, long and involved. So I can just sit down and play them in the background. Just listen to the jump scares and the reactions and all that while I grind Final Fantasy. Because that's what I've been doing. It's my background noise for grinding. And that sounded really dirty. Oh, I like some background noise while I'm grinding. And listening to girls shriek just does it. Now that was dirty. But that was intentionally dirty. But yeah, it's... was looking on the page, funny stuff from Five Nights at Freddy's, and they came up. It's like, oh, look at this. I'm like, oh, I'll watch the girls, and they are really good. I watched their first video, because I got the quote-unquote video 1 from like 6 different people that I watched. One was Critical, one was Watch Girls Play, one was Dashy Games, which I watched the rest of his too. Just something about the way he calls Chica hungry. It just amuses the shit out of me. Where hungry at? Where hungry at? So concerned where fucking Chica was because he couldn't find her half the time. And Chica's scary as fuck. What? Oh, this is me getting out in this alignment. Just exploring previous work here. So yeah, that's the other thing, is TV tropes can lead people to your channel. Even if I didn't have a page of my own, because Dashy Games didn't, I looked. I tried to follow the links, see what other stuff he did, you know, find out more about his stuff, and he just didn't have a page. But he had a link on the page because he was amusing. He entertained someone playing Five Nights at Freddy's. So I will admit, if I do Five Nights at Freddy's, and if I do, I'll do them all. I'm going to start with 4, then 2, then 1, then 3, because I'm going to play them in the supposed chronological order of what order the games take place in. And it's going to look a little weird on my side. Five Nights at Freddy's 4, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Five Nights at Freddy's 1, Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Why are they out of order? Well, they're actually not. They're just out of release order. I will admit that if I do that, that is 80% publicity stunt. That I am trying to do something. I'm trying to impress enough to maybe get a mention. And I will flat out say that in the video, that that is an attempt to get myself there. Because if you have a website where people mention you, you know, like, oh, TV tropes, yada, yada, yada. You can go on TV tropes, you can find people. You can find people by looking at other people's channels. Okay, you're still cute, so we're going to push you away before you turn demonic and evil. But again, that could be a thing. That could honestly be step 1 to really growing my channel, is people like me go on like, oh, Five Nights at Freddy's, I've heard of this, let's find out a little bit of background. You know, like, okay, let's go to the awesome moments. Oh, here's awesome things from this series, here's awesome things from Creator. Oh, Let's Plays. Huh, this guy named the Kyrix 82 beat 420 mode. That sounds impressive. Let's see his video. Oh, that was pretty cool, you know? Although while I say this is going to be a publicity thing, I'm not going to try and ham it up. I'm not going to try and be overly goofy. I'm not going to have exaggerated screams or anything, because we know that I know about the jump scares. The real thing that gets people is when they do this, they're doing it blind. So they don't know any of this shit. A lot of times, they don't necessarily know what kind of game it even is. They know it's a scary game, but that's it. Now, so if you watch me do this, and I scream or shriek or do anything like that, it's not me overselling it, because I'm not going to do that. Because that's the thing. If I'm using this to try and advertise me, and you like it because, oh wow, look at him make all this noise and all this shit, and then you watch my other videos and you're like, oh, he doesn't do that, he just did that for this, you're gonna realize, oh, he's just a fucking fake, you know? And if you're gonna like me, I want you to like me for me. If you're gonna hate me, I want you to hate me for me. Hate me if you must, but do it honestly, Raziel. Yes, Kane makes everything better. Oh god, that's a great moment there, is Soul Reaver. I think it was Soul Reaver 2, rather. Kane basically is telling Raziel, because Raziel for his entire existence has been manipulated by one powerful being or another, and this time it was Mobius basically telling him, kill Kane, kill Kane. And Kane is basically telling Raziel, look, don't be his puppet. Hate me if you're gonna, but do it honestly. If you want to kill me, do it because you hate me, because at least your hatred of me is honest. Don't kill me because Mobius said so. Don't kill me because you think you have some grand destiny. Kill me because I threw you into the abyss and burnt you and turned you into the being you are, you know? That's honest. Anything else is you lying to yourself. And if I die, I don't want to die for something that stupid. That's the gist of what he said. But Kane, oh my god. It doesn't help, or it doesn't hurt rather, that Michael or not Michael, Michael Bell and Simon Templeman have just sexy fucking Shakespeare voices. And again, this is a heterosexual man describing that because they have fucking sexy voices. Oh, give me that wool. Yeah, that is one thing that I have come to terms with over the years, is the fact that you can actually, even as a straight person, admit that something, that another guy can have a sexy quality without saying, oh, I'm attracted to him, I totally fuck him, you know? Because, for example, the prequels, Ewan McGregor, that is a sexy man. I wouldn't fuck him. I wouldn't want to be fucked by him. But you know what? When someone says, oh, he's sexy, I can say, yeah, I can see that. You know? Tim Curry, I mean, if you do not admit that man as a sexy voice, then you are fucking lying to yourself. There's a reason that man's voice is so well known. Because he's got a good one. Of course, one of the other things that really helps with Michael Bell and Simon Templeman is the fact that, and if I'm butchering their names because I've misread them or misremembered them, then I apologize, but is the fact that, yes, they have this serious Shakespearean demeanor, and they're total fucking goofballs. Because I've seen the outtakes, and they are goofy as hell. Like Drag Reaver, a whole new series. And he's been in something else, a cartoon from like the 80s, and I was shocked, like, oh my god, fucking Raziel was in this. It might even, don't quote me on this, it might even have been the original My Little Pony pilot. But he was in something silly and cartoony from the 80s. And I honestly think that was it, which is hilarious. Like, that's Raziel! Meanwhile, Simon Templeman's been in a lot of things. He was Logain from Dragon Age, which made it very hard to kill him. Like, he wronged me, but it's Cain. That's what Cain does. He wrongs people. But yeah, I killed him. That being said, if I ever do the Let's Play, well, when I do the Let's Play, I'm probably going to keep Logain alive. And the funny thing is, for as much as I go on about how awesome the Legacy of Kain series is, I don't really have any desire to Let's Play it. At all. I own Blood Omen 1. Somewhere in this house is Soul Reaver 2. You know? I could snag a couple bucks when I get my internet back and get Soul Reaver 1. With a little bit of searching and a little bit of luck, I could get Blood Omen 2 and Defiance for the PS2 or something. Or even just download it for the computer and do it all on the PC. But I don't really have any desire to, because, I don't know, I've seen it done. The games can be very long and very dull. It's the story. It's one of those, it's a good example of something TV Trope refers to as, skip the game, enjoy the story, which is how I treat God of War. I have no interest in the God of War series. There's yet to be a God of War that I'm like, ooh, I really want to play that. My only response was, ooh, I want to play that to see the story. But you know what? There are people on YouTube who've done that for me. And all I gotta do is watch and enjoy the story. And it further reinforced, watching those further reinforced the fact that I want nothing to do with that series, gameplay-wise. Because towards the end, I was skipping... Well, no, towards the middle, I was skipping fights and just watching the bosses in any story mode. And then towards the end, I was skipping, like, 80% of the boss fights. I'd like, oh, okay, so you stab Zeus in the eyes or something. Okay, seen that. What's the next thing you do? Okay, you do this. Because even the boss fights got fucking repetitive as shit. It's like, oh, slashy, 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 jump the blades. Oh, look, put it in his eye. Ah, cut his fingers off and shove him up his nose or something. And yes, I started to say ass. I'm like, no, let's go funny with this. Shove him up his nose. You know, but it's got a fascinating story. It really does. I like the story of God of War. I just wish they'd spend a little more time on the gameplay to make it something other than a hacky, slashy, redundant mess that it is. shit happens, you know? You do what you gotta do. And, I just want to take a look at something here. Resolution still the same? It is, okay. When I restarted XSplit, because I had turned it off while I was at McDonald's, when I restarted it, it was giant size for some reason, and I had to shrink the screen. I was wondering if that fucked my resolution and all, but no, it looks about the same size it always is. See, I got a lot of games in the pipe that I gotta work on. Star Trek news. There was no tournament this week because kind of got lost in the shuffle. However, there are 2 tournaments planned. Little fun tournaments that I made up. One is the mini ship challenge, which is ships of 3 hull or less. Those are little ships like birds of prey that define, you know, fast attacking, agile, fairly hard hitting ships, but they can't take punishment to save their ass. You know. It's letting the little ships come out to play. Not quite shuttlecrafts, because shuttlecrafts are 2 hull, but close, you know? Whereas things like the Enterprise are like 4 and 5 hull kind of things. But yeah, these are little ships, and basically the idea is you play 120 points, get a couple little ships, you go to town. And new guys like, are you sure you want to do that? What about my Alpha Hunter? I'm like, yeah, I took your Alpha Hunter into account. I've got the Ratosha, which can do the exact same thing with more agility, you know. But the other one, and this is the one that me and the driver are looking forward to, and the other guy's like, I don't know, the Mega Dreadnought Challenge, which is basically you pick one ship and you kit the fuck out of it. And they keep asking me, what's the points? I'm like, there aren't any. You just put everything you can physically pile onto this ship, and then you find crew that lets you pile even more on the ship. And we just throw them at each other. And the driver's like, oh, I finally get to test out the Prometheus. And I'm thinking, you bitch, that was my plan. What I said was, oh, maybe I could do the Scimitar, you know? But for the new guy, the rules, I added 2 rules to protect them from me. Rule 1 is no Borg. I'm the only one of us that has Borg. It would be unfair, because the Borg are broken, especially when you have no point limit. When you just go to town and put as much stuff on a Borg cube as you can, the Borg cube wins. It's just built that way. Second, pure faction only. If something allows you specifically mentions that it can be used in that. Like, for example, I have a Riker that doesn't take faction penalties from going on a Klingon ship. You can use that Riker on a Klingon ship. There's a T'Pol who can be used on Federation and Vulcan ships, so you can use her on either one. The Q will count simply because all the major people have them, and they're non-factional, so that's a thing. But you can't, for example, oh, I'm going to take this Vulcan ship and put it on this Mirror Universe weapon or whatever. No. And Khan will be banned specifically because he removes... Well, no, he won't be banned, but removing faction penalties for everyone is not the same as being allowed on that ship. Like, there's a Captain Kern. This captain does not receive faction penalties on any ship, so you can put him on any ship. There's not much reason to. All he really gets is one particular thing. You know, he's like, oh, he can use this for 3 points instead of whatever. But it's not that great a card, so no one would use that Kern. But this rule is to protect everyone else from me, because there's nothing, say, stopping me from taking... Oh, let's say the Prometheus and putting, or let's say the Scimitar and putting General Chang on there, so that I can, oh, I'm gonna fucking sensor echo every turn, you know, and putting, let's say, oh, there's gotta be a weapon like the Dominion forward dorsal phaser weapons or whatever. Or even the Federation dorsal phasers, which might work off a Federation ship. Which basically say, yeah, I pay however many points it would cost, minus or +1, and I can shoot from range 2 in any direction. Yeah, because the Scimitar needs that. You know, that kind of thing. Because I have stuff from every faction except Species 8472, which, until I think next month, will only have 1 ship. Next month, their 2nd ship comes out. So again, those rules are for my players, not necessarily. Well, it's for the rules are for me, and it has a little bit of spillage on my players. And the new guy's like, oh, I don't know, because he's the only one who's never really declared a faction. He has little bits of everything. He's leaning towards Mirror Universe, but he's still building his Mirror Universe stuff. So if we do that, and we will, I'm basically going to tell him, hey, if you want to run Mirror Universe, you can use my cards. Just because Mirror Universe is kind of a bitch to get, because a lot of their stuff is prize stuff, and you haven't really had much money to spend on it, you know? In November, Anubis will actually no longer owe me any money, because I basically got him a 3DS and Pokemon Omega Ruby for, well, not for Christmas or anything, I just kind of got it for him, with the thing being, hey, I can't really afford to pay for this, so I will get these for you if you pay for them every month, and I've kept track of what he owes me. And in November, he's done. He's been paying me $30 a month since, like, well, since November, really. So, come November, he will be paid off. That will be his final month, and in December, his money will be his own. And he's like, oh, I'll finally have about $45 a month, and I can start playing HeroClix. So I'm like, hey, Anubis, you know, if you want, you could get into Star Trek. Because this is the thing is, yeah, you'll be playing catch-up for a little while, but once you're caught up, it doesn't cost that much. $45 would get you all 3 ships for a month. But that's the thing. If you're being like me, yeah, it'll get you all 3 ships for the month. But if you're being like, say, the driver, whose name I almost said just now, then you can just pick a faction like, oh, I'm playing only Dominion. Okay, I'll help you get the Rav Lairs. The rest of this stuff, all retail. Well, except for Third Wing attack ship, but I can help you with that. For, you know, he could just get all the Dominion stuff. And then I could tell him, hey, Anubis, what? February, man, there's a new Dominion ship coming out. It's the Robinson, which it might actually be. I think it's in December, but let's just say it's February. You know, like, save up your money. I had the store order the Robinson for both of us. So he's like, oh, thanks, man. And when the Robinson comes out, he gets it, and I get it, and he's caught up on the Dominion, and so am I. You know? There's really only one Dominion ship I'm missing right now, and that's the Reklar, which I intend to remedy that next month. I want to get caught back up with the Dominion. Because you like my Dominion. I want them. Want them all. He's like, yeah, the judge, like, yeah, I finished my Federation, I finished my Ferengi. I'm like, you know, there's another one coming out next month. He's like, oh, yeah, I saw that. But that's the thing with Star Trek. There's something along the lines of... Where the fuck did I... press the wrong button. There's something in the neighborhood of, like, 12 factions. And only 3 ships come out a month. So, do the math. You can either go the expensive route, like, oh, I'm going to play Federation, because there's lots of new ships coming out. Like, there's one every other month or so. So I'll have lots of new stuff to use. Okay, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Play the Federation because you got lots of options. Or the Klingons, or the Romulans, or to a lesser extent the Dominion, sure. Or, hey, I'm going to play the Bajorans because I like their play style and there aren't a lot of ships, so I can get them all. There's nothing wrong with playing the Bajorans. If he wanted to play the Bajorans, for example, come December, he can get all 5 ships. Yes, 5 ships. Relatively cheap. The Corum would be the most expensive. Well, second most expensive. But the Corum would be one of the more expensive ones at about $20 to $30. I could get that for him, no problem. Especially if he had 45 to spend. Bajoran Interceptor 5. Good little ship. Worth having more than one of. But, again, $15 a piece. I would honestly suggest him getting like 2 or 3 of them. The Ratosha, brand new ship, about $15. I would suggest getting several of them, even if he doesn't run them, simply because they have the Bajoran Militia that drastically pumps his damage up to levels that rival a Borg ship. You can get the Ratosha pumping out 8 dice a turn. Borg tactical cubes pump out 6 dice. You can shoot harder than the Borg. And that just leaves, the Bajoran light ship. We don't know anything about it yet, but it's coming out in December. Much to my pleasure, because I kept telling the driver, I really want the light ship. I want Cisco's Bajoran light ship. And then suddenly, boom, it's coming up. I'm like, I was kind of kidding, but yay. And then, of course, there's Deep Space Nine, which is Federation, Dominion, Bajoran, depending on which version he gets. And honestly, in his case, I would go for the tournament version because it's disassemblable. No? And because he's not planning to play it as a Federation ship in that case, he'd be playing it as the Bajorans. So he doesn't need the DS9 crew pack that comes with the retail version. You know? And if he does, I can loan him the cards. Because here's the beautiful thing. When you have Deep Space Nine, it is the only exception to the no proxy rule. The HeroClix Judge has the tournament version, and I have the retail version. There are 2 versions with different cards. The tournament version is a Federation Bajoran and I think Dominion version of Deep Space Nine, which basically says when you fire torpedoes, you don't spend the torpedo, or you don't disable the torpedoes. And then there's Abandoned Nor Class Station, which is independent, which is just an empty shell, you know. And then there's my retail version, which is Deep Space Nine, which is Federation Bajoran. I forget what its ability is, but it's better than the torpedo thing. And then there's the Dominion Terok Nor, which is, hey, you can fire your primary weapons at a range of 3, which is awesome. Because DS9's primaries only go to 2 normal. So you have full range of fire. Well, because there are 2 widely different versions, they basically say, hey, as long as you have a Deep Space Nine, an actual physical model with the base, it doesn't matter. You can use the cards for either one. I can play mine as any of those 4 versions of Deep Space Nine, even though technically it's only the retail 2. And I have the cards for the other 2. So if Anubis were to play Bajorans in this hypothetical, I don't think he would, but if he were, and he were to get the tournament Deep Space Nine, and he were to say, hey, Kyrix, what? Can you loan me the retail DS9 card? Oh, sure, dude. Here you go, you know? Or if he were to get the retail version, like I have, for whatever reason, I have 2 each of the tournament cards, because they came with my little template thing. So I could flat out give him a pair of, oh, here's Deep Space Nine, and here's Abandoned Nor Class, you know? Well, thanks, man. Anyway, thank you for sitting with me here. I'm so glad I had a positive episode this week. It felt really good to just gush instead of to just sit here and bitch to you guys. I really enjoyed myself this week, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!